There are secrets hidden deep within the code, forces waiting to be combined, elements that react, collide, creating something new. Basalt. Dark, strong, infinitely useful. But manual labor, that's the nightmare. They said it couldn't be automated easily. They didn't count on harnessing a little controlled chaos. A symphony of logic, powered by an explosive core. Today we unlock the blueprint.
In today's episode, we are going to be shifting away from our Pickle Farm series, and we are going to be exploring a farm that you may not know even exists. Most of our farms focus around crops such as cocoa beans, sweet berries, and of course pickles. But we are going to be exploring the Basalt Farm. This is an explosive episode because it does require TNT and a basalt generator, and this will make you millions on DonutSMP. This can also be used in your survival world if you need a ton of basalt. So let's get started. Now, this is one of the most requested farms on our channel outside of pickle farms, of course, and we have spent hours and hours, probably days, prototyping and creating a farm that is going to be efficient, easy to build, and generate tons of basalt. We are going to give you the dimensions after the video, and the reason is this is going to be a large farm. The best way to start off is by building a base that is 3 chunks long and 3 chunks wide. We are going to find the center. If you don't know how to identify chunks in your base, a chunk is a way that Minecraft uses to render different portions of the map at different times. A chunk is 16 blocks long and 16 blocks wide. You may have seen that in your settings when it's talking about render distance. If you are in Java, if you hold down F3 and press the G key on your keyboard, it will bring up a grid and you can easily find your chunks. This can be done in DonutSMP, so don't you worry, you don't have to count out the total 48 blocks. If you are on Bedrock, unfortunately this debugging tool is not available to you, so you do have to count out 48 blocks long and 48 blocks wide. But we are going to find the center of our chunk, and we are actually going to find the corner. Let me add a little visual reference. What I did is I found the center 4 blocks. It doesn't matter which one you use. This can be built in any orientation, but we only need to find one of them. And in this video, scaffolding is going to be your friend. So I would recommend getting some scaffold. This will just make building the farm that much easier. In our center 4 blocks, we are going to scaffold up 5 blocks in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. On the 5th scaffold, we are going to place a piece of basalt. This does not have to be basalt, but this will be one of the blocks that is destroyed later. So if you don't want any junk blocks in your storage, go ahead and build with basalt. Now, I am in the bottom left of my chunk, so I am going to build a square that is going to be all the way around. So I'm going to build towards this side. I'm going to go 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks in total. And I'm going to come out to my side, and I'm going to build out 1 block and go another 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is going to be the inner dimensions of your blast chamber, because we do need TNT to harvest this, and we'll talk about that later. But the easiest way to count this out is by going 5 blocks from your corner block, coming out 6 blocks, and then to make the corner, we're going to add a 7th block, build out 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Again, that is the inner dimension of our blast chamber. We're going to turn around by adding 1 more block and connecting the outside. So each side is going to be 7 blocks total, with the interior dimensions being 5 by 5. We are going to build off of the farm in the center, so we know where to build our modules. This farm will consist of 4 modules, and it will consist of 8 basalt generators. So we are going to find the 3rd block, and on the 4th block we are going to place down we're going to start on the 2nd block. So leave the 1st block. We are going to start on the 2nd block, and we are going to build out 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, don't fall off in survival. 7 and 8. You should have an overhang of 2 blocks, and you'll have 1 block to the side. And I get so used to these chunk borders that I kind of ignore them unless I pass through them. So let me turn that off for you so it's not so distracting. We're going to do the same thing here. We're going to count out 8 from the 2nd block, which conveniently is right next to this newly added block. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And we are going to do this on all 4 sides, starting at that 2nd block position. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And lastly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. You should have a pattern that looks like this, and this will be the basis for building your platform. A piston can push blocks up to 12 blocks. What that means is when we generate the basalt farm, we are going to be pushing it towards the middle, and we want this to be the maximum push distance. So we are going to build out 12 additional blocks from this corner block. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And that will be 13 blocks in total from your starting position. So after it gets to that 12th block, it can no longer push, and we will have a piston back here. We are going to do the same thing on the 8th block out, building out 12 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now this step is very important. We don't want to connect the outside edge. We want to connect the inside edge. So we are going to connect those furthermost basalt blocks right in the middle. And we're going to do this on all 4 sides, counting out 12 blocks on both sides, and connecting them on the interior of our structure. So this is going to be an 8 by 13 outline. Again, we are going to do this on all 4 sides. So just build out 12 blocks, and make sure that on the last block that your structure looks like this. Now, if you are able to get a bird's eye view of your farm, it should be in this outline. Kind of looks like a ceiling fan or a 4-petal flower. We are going to pick a side, it doesn't matter which one, and we are going to start building our module. Now, again, scaffolding will be your friend, and if you can afford it and if you have it, I would invest in Swift Sneak because you will be doing a lot of crouching to avoid falling off. But we are going to jump off for this next portion. We are going to go right to the end of our platform outline, and we're going to build down 4 blocks, which is extremely easy to do. Just point your cursor at that corner block and hold down your mouse until it hits your head. That is 4 blocks down, and we are going to do this on all 8 blocks on all 4 sides. So Colin will finish those as I finish these. Alrighty. The next step is going to be adding an obsidian block underneath the wall we just created directly below. So make sure that it is lined up directly below, and you're going to build an obsidian wall 1 block high all the way to the end of your module. Now I'll be referring to each side as a module because they are going to operate independently, which you'll see later. We are going to need some pistons. You will be needing a lot of pistons in this farm, probably just as much as any of our larger pickle farms, but the reward is worth it. Walk right up to your obsidian and look down at the inside corner, right in the center, and place it facing down. If you look too far up, it will be facing towards you. You don't want to do that. So you need to be towards you on the lower side of your obsidian block. And we're just going to place down pistons all the way along it, just like that. There's going to be 8 pistons in total, and they all need to be facing up. And you'll do this on all 4 of your modules. Now, after this point, we are going to be focusing on just 2 modules because, as you can see, they are all built identically. And this video will be long enough. Oh, see, I messed up there. This video will be long enough without doing all 4 modules. So just know that everything that C3 and I do on these 2 modules, it's identical for the rest of them. Now, this next one is a very important step. You need soul soil. You will also need blue ice. And there it is. Soul soil and blue ice are the components needed to make basalt. We are going to place soul soil right on the side of our pistons, and we're going to do it lengthwise. So you'll need 16 pieces of soul soil per module on the base. We are going to build another generator up top, so there will be 32 soul soil in total for one module. Colin, will soul sand work?
No, it won't.
It will not work, so make sure you have soul soil. I will be getting a ticket in my Discord saying that my basalt generator doesn't work, and the first thing I'm going to look at is to see if you watched the video carefully and chose soul soil. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to place an obsidian block directly above our piston on our basalt wall. And we're going to go out 2 blocks in both directions. We're going to do this on both sides, building out 2 blocks. Now, you may be asking why we are building with obsidian. Well, it has a very high blast resistance, so if something catastrophic happens with your farm, we want to protect as much of the components as possible. We have not had any issues with our farm breaking, but it is better to be safe than sorry. In between our 2 obsidian blocks that extend beyond our soul soil, we are going to place a row of blue ice. We're going to do this on both sides. And now's a good time to get out your scaffolding because we are going to go up on top and we are going to make a little barrier covering our blue ice starting on our obsidian, and we're just going to build this all the way around. We're going to do this on all sides until we have a nice rectangle outline with a 2 block high trough where our soul soil is. The soul soil is going to be where the basalt is generated. When lava touches blue ice and soul soil, it creates basalt. Lava has a maximum flow distance of 4 blocks, so you will place 2 buckets of lava, one on the 4th block, counting from the left side, and one counting from the right side. And you'll see that the lava, as it spreads, will generate basalt, and it will do that all the way. Going to the other side, if you accidentally misclick, your lava is going to instantly turn into basalt, and you will not have a lava source. So make sure that you do it 2 blocks above your soul soil. Now, one of the questions that we get asked when building basalt farms is, do I need to place lava over every single soul soil? And the short answer is no. You do not need to place lava in all 8 slots. That would be a waste of resources and a waste of time gathering all the lava. Let's check in on Colin, see how he's doing. He is doing quite well. Let me add that lava for him. Now, that is the short answer. The long answer is going to be nerding out with CD3 Daddy because I like to explain what we're doing and why we're doing it. So come over with me to this little contraption we have set up that will drop lava that is being held up by a sticky piston. When Colin pulls that lever, we will watch the lava fall. go ahead, and it takes 1.5 seconds for the lava to drop 1 block. Now, this is very important to understand if you have seen other tutorials on basalt farming, and I will show you why. So let's jump in the world's smallest nether portal and go to the exact same setup that has apparently been left on. In the nether, lava is much faster. So in the overworld, it takes 1.5 seconds to drop 1 block. Go ahead and pull that lever, Colin. In the nether, it takes half a second for lava to drop 1 block. So if you're wondering why you are a master at dodging lava when digging through caves, but you seem to always run into it in the nether, well, this is probably why. Lava flows extremely fast. The reason I tell you this is many Basalt Farm tutorials that you may find are geared towards the nether. They will not work in the overworld without a lot of redstone timing tweaks. This farm that we are building is designed to work in the overworld because we know that in DonutSMP, the nether is not a safe place, both for mobs but also for griefers. So this is specifically for the overworld. This will work in the nether with the timing, but again, most nether basalt farms will not work in the overworld. All right, one last piece before we get started is to show you why we are only using 2 buckets of lava. Now, this is the last thing I want you to know before we get back to building our farm, because I think it's important to know why you're doing what you're doing, and this will help you troubleshoot in the long run. We currently have the same setup, but this time we have 1 source block of lava at the top, and we are allowing it to flow to the sides. It is currently being held by a lever with sticky pistons. Colin, go ahead and flip that lever. As you can see, nothing happened because I've actually currently frozen the tick rate so that the game does not make advancements with our blocks. So if I go ahead and tick step it 1.5 seconds, which is the rate lava falls, we will see that the blue ice is retracted, but the lava has not started falling yet, and that's because it took 1 tick, 2 ticks for the blue ice to retract. If I advance it 2 more ticks, so let me advance it 2 ticks, we'll see that the lava starts falling, and you'll see that it is falling evenly. So regardless of it being a source block or flowing lava, it will fall at an even rate. We can test that again by advancing it 1.5 seconds, which is 30 game ticks, and yes, the lava dropped 1 more block. So this is very important when it comes to our timing here in a moment. All right, we are back at our modules, and it is time to start wiring it up. Before we do that, we are going to add some sticky pistons behind our blue ice, and we're going to do that by adding 2 pieces of obsidian on both sides, right next to our blue ice. We are going to connect the back side, and then we are going to go underneath our blue ice, grab our sticky pistons, and we're going to place them on the obsidian, making sure that the face of the piston is attached to our blue ice. This will be what we use to push the basalt into our piston row, which will then push it up. So do this on both sides of your modules, and of course you will do this on all 4 of your modules. And get rid of that if that's in the way. Same thing underneath, adding your sticky pistons, making sure that they don't do that, that they attach the face of the sticky piston to your blue ice. Now, I guess I placed that in a bad spot because we're going to scaffold back up, and we are going to wire this. We are going to need sticky pistons, observers, and we're going to need repeaters. What we are going to do is we are going to, it doesn't matter which side you start on. All that matters is on the corner, we're going to place a repeater right behind catty corner, our first sticky piston, and place it on a 2 tick. Oh, you are also going to need some redstone. Take your redstone dust, run it all the way until we get behind the last sticky piston, and then we're going to add another repeater also on a 2-tick. We are going to, actually you could just walk over this way. We're going to do the same thing on the opposite side, going in the opposite direction. Repeater, 1 block behind and beside our sticky piston on a 2-tick. Redstone dust all the way until you get to the corner. Repeater, 2-tick. What we are going to do is find our starting repeater. We're going to place a sticky piston on the elevated corner of our lava trough. Make sure that it is facing towards you and not up. You're going to turn and face the side of your sticky piston and place an observer, making sure that the red dot on the back of your observer, which is the redstone output, when the sticky piston is extended, will update our repeater. We are going to do this on both sides. It's kind of like a monostable circuit, except we're just doing a long pulse and we're converting it to a short pulse. This will power in a loop. And what is it going to power? Well, I'm glad you asked. We're going to hop down. We're going to crouch. We're going to look at the base of our repeater and place an obsidian block. We are going to run obsidian along the side all the way until you are right behind your sticky piston. We're going to do this on both sides, making sure that the repeater that is facing nothing is eventually facing a block. Run those blocks until you are behind your sticky piston, and the top layer is just about complete. But we want to connect it to the obsidian wall that is underneath our pistons. Grab some repeaters, leave them on a 1-tick, and make sure that you have 1 repeater into each block. You can go ahead and add redstone now directly behind those repeaters, because we're going to connect this to our clock in a moment. Underneath your elevated block, directly underneath the repeater, we're going to place a block to build off of. It could be a temporary block, but I'll probably just leave it. And you should have a little gap just like that. Place a redstone dust on top, and then place an obsidian block directly diagonally down, and then a second obsidian block directly diagonally down. We're going to place a repeater facing away from the block, so as this top block is powered, it will power the redstone dust, which will power the obsidian block, which will power our repeater, which will then follow a redstone line to our bottom repeaters. And you'll notice that, like everything else being on a 2-tick, this is also a 2-tick because we have a repeater on a 1-tick and another repeater on a 1-tick. We are going to do the same thing on the other side, placing an obsidian block directly under our repeater, coming out 1, going down 2, repeater away from your solid block, redstone dust in the little gap, and connecting it to your repeater line, just like that. We are just about done with this circuit. We're going to hop back up on our farm. We're going to grab some redstone repeaters. You could have done this before, but I wanted you to see what it's connecting to. Place a repeater down on a 2-tick, and then run redstone dust all the way to our sticky piston. We are going to do this on both sides. 2-tick, redstone dust to our sticky piston. So you'll see that we have now created an infinite loop. So once you turn this farm on, it will continue to run unless you manually turn it off. We will talk about how to restart it if you get logged out or a region is updated, but this should run indefinitely. Now, before we turn it on, we are going to start building up the next layer of our farm. The way we are going to do that is jumping up on the top of our Basalt Farm, and we are going to place a block. And these can be temporary blocks, but they won't get in the way if you leave them. If you're building a temporary block, I would not encourage you to use obsidian, but place 1 block on the side of your wall and then 1 block extending out. We are going to use this to start our piston wall, and we are going to place it into this top basalt outline, and we're going to just crouch backwards and run pistons all the way across the back side. Again, Swift Sneak will be your friend. Now's a good time to note that if you don't want to fall in the lava, you can actually cover it up. Just make sure you don't place it too far down and break your lava. But you can absolutely do that. This step is not required, but I am prone to falling, so I will probably cover this up, even though I am in creative. Now the piston wall is going to be 8 long, and it is going to be 8 tall. So scaffolding will be your friend once again. So build this up however you want. Just make sure that all of your pistons are facing towards you. So this is my 4th layer. What I typically do is I count up all the way, so 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and then I fill in the rest, making sure that I have 8 pistons all facing towards me, going 8 tall. How's it going over there, Colin?
Awesome.
All right. Our modules are looking the same. We can actually start our generator. So let's go ahead and do that now. It would be very difficult to add the pistons after the fact, so you do want to add them first. Grab yourself a stone button. A wooden button will not work because it stays on longer. We want to provide a relatively short pulse, so place it anywhere along your redstone loop. So I'll just place it somewhere on the obsidian and click it once, and we'll see that basalt generate all the way to the top. Just like that. And that's fun to watch. Now, it may look like that basalt is generating really quickly, and it is, but we do need to make it even faster. So Colin, go ahead and start breaking that outside wall for me. You'll see that each basalt is being generated on the opposite side, and it is being pushed up in sequence. So we are able to generate at double the drop rate of lava. So every 3/4 of a second we are generating 1 basalt, and it is replacing as Colin is breaking. And that is the fundamentals of our Basalt Farm. So Colin actually broke some pistons, so I will leave it to him to fix those. The next thing we are going to do is we are going to grab our soul soil, grab our blue ice, and grab your scaffolding. We are going to work our way up to the very top of your farm. Now again, our basalt has a maximum push distance of 12 blocks, so we are going to use the top of our farm, and we are going to be generating basalt in the opposite direction. Go ahead and place soul soil on the top of your pistons, just like that, and place it opposite. Again, Swift Sneak is your friend because I can't stand building slow. On the sides of your wall, we are going to place 3 obsidian blocks. We are going to do this on both sides, and then we are going to build that up 1 block, extending out 1 obsidian block, just like that. You're going to do this on both sides, building up 1 block, extending out 1 block. Grab your blue ice, and you can probably see that we are building the generator exactly the same way, but this time upside down. Well, upside down for the most part. The pistons will be pushing down, but the lava still needs to be able to flow down, and we're going to start that by building a border all the way around. Before we do that, we need to build out 1 block. You can build out 2 blocks if it makes it easier, because we're going to build the same outline we did before with our sticky pistons. I usually build out 1 block and then aim towards the side, making sure that your sticky piston is facing your blue ice. Do this all the way across, until you reach the other side of your obsidian. I think that is easier to do, and then I can encase it with obsidian on the back side. The other method is building it out 2 blocks and then building this over first. That way you have a solid face to look at while you're doing this. It's up to you. I usually misplace it like that, so. Alright, your farm should look like this on the upper level, just like Colin's. We're going to grab our obsidian once again, and we're going to build our outline just like before, starting on the outside wall, covering up our blue ice all the way. And we should have a 2-block deep trough where you only see basalt and soul soil. Same thing as before, the basalt is going to be pushed into the middle of our farm, which will end up in your storage system. You can use any temporary block that can be pushed by a piston, but again, I'm using basalt. That way I don't have to remove any junk items. Build it up 1 block, grab your normal pistons, go right up to the corner, and then look right at the top corner of our obsidian. And I'm actually going to change it to basalt. Maybe that'll be easier to see. Right up to the corner. If you place it too far forward, it'll be facing towards you. If you're not crouched, sometimes it will face towards you. So just make sure that you are looking at the very top corner, and crouching is the easiest way to make sure you are doing it. And place a piston facing down all the way across all 8 blocks. Oop, too far. Just like that. If you are having trouble with the orientation of your pistons, it's probably because you are not crouched or you're looking too far into the middle of the block. Now that we have our outline, we need to grab our lava bucket once again, or lava buckets. You'll need 4 of them per half of the module, so the top half and lower half. On the 4th piston, 1, 2, 3, and 4, place a lava bucket, and on the 5th piston, or 4th from the opposite side. And it is extremely satisfying to watch. So it takes 3 seconds after you place your lava down, 1.5 to flow towards you, then 1.5 to flow down. And your lava will spread evenly, just like that. If you place it too far to the side, as long as one of them is on the 4th block, it's fine. You will only run into issues if you don't place the lava bucket somewhere in the center. So just be careful when doing that. If your lava isn't flowing all the way, that's what you did. Well, I don't like unevenness. I'm trying to fix it. There we go. Alright, your farm should look like this. And as you can see, it's almost an exact copy of the bottom. The only difference is our pistons are on the top side. Since it is almost an identical copy, we are going to be doing an almost identical redstone circuit. So start on the corner, once again, right behind your sticky piston. Place a repeater on 2 ticks. And we are going to grab our redstone dust, and we're going to walk it out all the way until you get to the end. We are going to grab our obsidian. We're going to go out 1 block, and we are going to make a little ledge on both sides of our farm. And since we're over here, we'll go ahead and start our 2nd repeater on a 2-tick, walking it out all the way to the edge, and finish off our ledge. Now, since we are not going down to power our pistons, we are going up. What you're going to do is place a block of obsidian right in line with our piston on both sides, just like that. Grab your redstone dust, or I'm sorry, your repeater, and instead of placing it on the corner, caddy corner from our last piston, we are actually going to extend the redstone dust 1 block shy of the block we just added, place a repeater on a 2-tick. On the other side of this block, we're going to place a second and final repeater on a 2-tick. We are going to jump down, place our sticky piston on the corner just like before. We have a ledge this time, so it's a little easier maybe. Place your observer looking away from your farm with the redstone output facing towards you, which will power the repeater when the sticky piston is extended. Do this on both sides, running your redstone 1 block shy of the obsidian block with a repeater on a 2-tick, a second repeater on a 2-tick, sticky piston, and observer. Now we need to power the pistons, but we need to make sure that they don't backfeed the loop, because if we just place redstone all the way across, like you may be inclined to do, this will create an infinite loop on both sides, and you are only getting half of the time for the lava to drop, and you'll never generate basalt. So we are going to place a repeater 1 block away from our piston on a 2-tick. Go to the other side, do the same thing, 1 block away from our piston. Oh, not sure what happened there. 1 block away from our piston on a 2-tick. So every single repeater on this top layer is going to be on a 2-tick. It's the same timing as down here. However, this one is a 1-tick repeater and a 1-tick repeater, which adds up to a 2-tick. We are going to grab our button and we are going to turn it on. And you'll see that the redstone signal stops at the repeater because the repeater acts kind of like a diode, so it keeps the redstone from completing the circuit. And that is our top generator complete. So if you just look at the timing, you'll see that one side fires, then the other side fires, but the total loop is going to be just enough time for the lava to fall and generate. And if we go back in and start breaking this wall, you'll see that instead of just generating from the bottom, we are generating from both ends. So we are essentially generating basalt every really 1/3 of a second, but it's extremely fast. All right, both of our generators are up and running, and it is time to wire up the piston wall. This is not as complicating as you may think, because all we're going to do is, again, scaffolding will be your friend. Place a 2-block platform behind the bottom piston row. Skip a block, do 2 more. And we're going to do this all the way up. Until you get to the top platform, where you will place repeaters right up against your piston, all the way across. Follow it up with redstone all the way across. And you're going to do this for all of your platforms. Now, if you're placing the repeaters in rapid succession like I didn't actually even notice this, but make sure that you don't misclick one of the repeaters, because that can break your farm. They all need to stay on a 1-tick. So repeater into each piston all the way across. Now this is relatively expensive, but it doesn't cause really any lag. And with the profits you'll be making, you will not even notice it. So just complete this all the way across. Now we're going to wire all of our platforms together. Now we are going to be using a little trick that only works in Java, and that is a quick pulse to detach a observer to get a single pulse out of a double pulse from our loop. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find the second sticky piston, and we're going to line up on the back side of the redstone dust. If you crouch click into the dust, you'll be able to place it directly on the dust. And actually, I don't even think you need to crouch click. I think you can just place it. Yeah, you can. If you're having trouble with that, you can always place a temporary block. Just make sure that the face of the observer is looking at that redstone line, and you're going to do it with the redstone output facing towards you. And I don't want to ruin the surprise, so I'm actually going to stop the loop. Alright. Once you have done that, you are going to take a sticky piston and you're going to go to the top of your observer, crouch, face it, or place it on the back of the observer facing up. So you should see the head of the sticky piston. You are going to turn around and you're going to place an observer facing away, just like that. And actually, let me go ahead and turn that back on so you can see what it's going to do. So every time it pulses, it will spit out the observer, which will pulse our wall one time, and then it will retract it. So every 2 pulses is a full cycle for our timer. And that is extremely important because we want to be able to generate enough basalt for the wall to push out evenly. All right, now that we have our observers and our sticky piston, you're going to go to the back side. You're going to place a block on top of your observer. If you have scaffolding, it'll be really easy to get on top of, but I'm going to go ahead and jump from my corner block, and I'm going to place a repeater. Leave that on a 1 tick, and you'll see the theme. This is a 1 tick, those are 1 ticks, so the total tick will be a 2 tick, just like the rest of your farm. On the front side of your repeater, we're going to place a solid block. I'm going to just continue building with obsidian. We are behind the farm, so even if it did malfunction, I don't think these are going to blow up, but just to keep the aesthetics nice, I'm going to keep building with obsidian. Now, didn't parkour that very good. Now this is going to power a block with redstone dust on top, which will power the bottom layer. Well, that is the bottom platform wired up, but we need to power them all at once. It's extremely easy to do, and this is why we do it on the second sticky piston, so the redstone signal will reach all the way, but we are going to stair step it up diagonally. So place it on the obsidian platform, redstone dust, obsidian platform, redstone dust, obsidian platform, and the final one on the redstone dust. Grab some redstone dust and run it up all the way until the top platform is connected. Redstone can travel a maximum distance of 15 blocks, so let's just double check ourselves. We have from the repeater 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and we just barely made it at 15. Now give us just a moment to build out the other 2 modules because I want to turn these all on at once because I think it looks a lot cooler. Alright, again, it would be way too long to build those out, so we went ahead and built out the other 2 modules, but they are built exactly the same as the ones that Colin and I just built. We have our top generators running. It is time to turn on the bottom generators, and we are going to do it quickly so we can watch the farm continue to build itself out. So Colin, when you're ready, 3, 2, 1, and go. And I'll get a bird's eye view so you can kind of see this thing building itself out block by block. And I just think it is super cool. Now initially the blocks will be a little uneven in the middle, but once the blast chamber is built out and everything is active, this will keep up really quickly. And actually I think there's something wrong with this one. Oh, maybe not. Oh, there it is. See, this is the problem. If you leave it on a 2-tick, you can mess up your whole farm. So make sure that all of your repeaters on your piston wall are a 1-tick. Now that our farm has finished doing the hard work for us by building out the blast chamber, we will just show you quickly kind of how it works. As TNT drops, it will destroy the interior of our farm, and the piston wall will push all of the basalt back in place and get it ready for the next blast. And this will happen over and over and over again. So now we are going to build out the timing for our blast chamber. Now I am going to be building this out of obsidian, and this is something that you definitely should too, just in case. We have not had any issues with it, but better to be safe than sorry, and don't fall off. The first thing you're going to need to do is place a temporary block on one of the corners or somewhere along the surface of your blast chamber, because we are going to build out an obsidian box on the interior of your blast chamber. So it's going to be 5 blocks long and 5 blocks wide. It is going to be 6 blocks tall, so from the block that we're standing on, that will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And you are going to build this all the way around except for 1 block. So I'm going to start in the middle and go, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The rest of it is going to be 6 blocks. So make sure you leave that 1 block in the middle of any wall, it doesn't matter which one. Make sure that you leave that, or you will be breaking obsidian, and that is no fun. And don't miscount, because it's a lot easier to break in creative than it is survival. Alright. Now the reason we wanted to leave that gap is we are going to time the TNT with a sticky piston. So let's go ahead and grab our sticky piston, and we are going to place it in that gap facing towards you. It doesn't matter which block you choose, it is not going to explode. I'm going to use basalt just because. We're going to place a block of basalt on front of the sticky piston, and that will be extended to hold our TNT in place until it's ready to ignite. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to build up this blast chamber by placing an obsidian block directly across from our basalt and to the side, just like that. We're going to build this up 1 block on all sides, including on top of our basalt. You don't have to use basalt again, but you cannot use obsidian because an obsidian block cannot be moved by a sticky piston. So if your farm is not working or you are exploding the ground beneath you, double check to make sure that you did not place an immovable block in front of the sticky piston, because it does need to move. Once we have that general outline, you can fill these gaps if you want. You don't have to. I kind of like to leave them open so I can look in, but just to be safe, we can close them. Opposite of your sticky piston, on top of that, the furthest block, we are going to grab a dispenser, and we are going to place the dispenser on top with the output facing towards you. We are going to build up the blast chamber 1 more block tall, and even though this seems like it's going to break it, we are going to place an obsidian block in front of it. This will help blast proof it in case there is a misfire. If there is a misfire, we want to be able to place our sticky piston back quickly, so I am going to place an obsidian block behind it, but I am not going to cover it. Again, we have not had any issues, but we have not run this long term enough to see what happens with server updates. We are going to place 2 obsidian blocks behind the dispenser, 1 directly down and behind, and 1 directly behind. Alright, now that your shape looks like this, if you're following along, we are going to place 3 blocks of obsidian down diagonally from the back of our dispenser, and we are going to build out 3 blocks. 1, 2, and 3. It doesn't matter which direction you do this from. If you did the 3 blocks on the other side, as long as you get the timing correct, that's what matters the most. But I'm doing it, if I am on the piston side looking at my dispenser, I'm going left 3 blocks. I'm going to build out 8 more blocks for a total of 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. On the right side, I'm going to go out 2 blocks. 1 and 2. And I'm going to extend it back. I'm going to go back 8 blocks. You don't have to go back 8 blocks, but just for easy easy block placement, we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now on the back of our sticky piston, we are going to make our favorite little pattern, which is a little Tetris pattern. So starting on the back of our sticky piston, we're going to build back 2 more blocks and place a block in the middle, which looks like an upside down T from the classic game of Tetris. Grab a redstone torch. I'm going to get my observer ready because I'll need one in a moment. You place a redstone torch on the front side of our Tetris pattern on the block diagonally up from our sticky piston, just like that. And you'll see that that extends our sticky piston, and that is what our TNT will rest on when we turn on the blast chamber. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab a bunch of repeaters. We're going to start on the side with 2 blocks, face it into the block behind your dispenser, and set it on a 4-tick. Go to the opposite side, place a repeater going out of the solid block on a 4-tick. Place 2 pieces of redstone dust, turn, place 5 repeaters, all on a 4-tick, except for the last one, which will be on a 2-tick. This is the only repeater on our blast chamber that will be on something other than a 4-tick. Place down 3 pieces of redstone dust, and we're going to jump to the other side. We are going to place a repeater into the back of our redstone, or the block that our redstone torch is attached to. Place it on a 4-tick. We are going to connect our Tetris piece to our 8 block or 9 block obsidian arm on the opposite side, and we're going to face a repeater going out of the block with the redstone torch on a 4-tick. On the block above that repeater, we're going to place redstone dust, and somewhere along this line you need to add another repeater, you guessed it, on a 4-tick, and then connect it back. Now we don't have a full loop yet. We are going to need a way to extend this. We are going to pulse it the same way we did the rest of our modules with a sticky piston. So on that 9th block facing towards you, place a sticky piston, jump on the block with the redstone torch, and place an observer on the face of the sticky piston, just like that, making sure that the red circle, when the sticky piston is fully extended, will power this repeater. And we can give this a little test to make sure everything's working. So grab a stone button and place it on the face of the, or you can place it on the top, I guess. Doesn't really matter. Place it on the block, power it up, and you'll see that the clock is now working. Now, just like lava, it does take quite a while for TNT to explode, so it takes 30 game ticks for the TNT to ignite and blow up. So this will time it to where it dispenses the TNT. It will rest here, the piston will pull back right before it explodes, and it will explode right in the middle of your blast chamber. And it will do that over and over and over until you turn your farm off. Let me get out of here. The only thing left to do is test it, but before I do, I always add a little shutoff on the back of it. You can do that by adding a block behind your, or any repeater really, but on the back of your repeater, it doesn't matter the tick. Place a block behind it and put a lever. When you run a redstone signal into a repeater on the side, it will lock it in its current state. So if you lock it at the wrong time when that repeater is illuminated, oh, I missed. You can actually lock the repeater on, so that could that could happen. So if you see that, that's what's going on. And our farm is ready. So let's go ahead and test it out real quick, and then we will talk about our collection system. So I'll just grab a few TNT. We'll just do a few. Oh, let me add my obsidian block back, and I'll just place some TNT inside and start it and go down to the bottom. And as you can see, everything is perfectly timed for the TNT to explode right in the middle of our blast chamber, which will yield about 140 basalt per TNT blast, which is extremely efficient. We had several different designs, and this is the one that produced the most. But one thing I want you to know is because of the nature of TNT, sometimes the basalt gets stuck on the ledges, just like you see here. If the wall regenerates and pushes it off, it will fall in your collection system. Sometimes the wall does pinch your basalt, and if that happens, you may see basalt end up on top of your farm like that. In all of our testing, out of a stack of TNT, the most we have ever lost is 30 basalt blocks, because as you see there, perfect timing. Sometimes it will stack up with the basalt below it, so the loss is very minimal, but because we are producing 140 per blast, the trade-off was acceptable for us. All right, so that was 16, so we have quite a bit of basalt. All right, now that we have a farm that is fully operational, we need a way to collect all the basalt, because again, we generate a ton of basalt with this farm. So what we're going to do is we're going to find the very center of the farm, which is easy to do. Look up at the basalt block, or the block that you place on your sticky piston, and place a obsidian block directly beneath you. This doesn't necessarily need to be a blast resistant block, because we are going to have water on top of it. But just in case your timing is off, I do want it to be protected in the event of a catastrophe. You are going to, we're going to build a 17 by 17 platform. Ours is a 9 by 9. We do see an occasional stack of basalt off to the side, which is an acceptable loss for us. But if you want to maximize it fully, we are going to place the obsidian block in the middle, and we are going to build out 8 in each direction. And I'm just going to use scaffolding as my temporary block. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm going to do this all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now you're going to pick a side of the farm to be your exit. It doesn't matter which side, just whatever is closest to your storage system. On the remaining 3 sides, we are going to build up 4 blocks. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And Colin built 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now what we are going to do is we are going to connect the top block of the 3. We're going to go ahead and do that now. So all the way until they meet in a corner, just like this. And we're going to do this on both sides that have the 3 pillars. We're then going to build a platform starting at 1 block below on the interior of our platform. So I'm going to place it on the column, which is diagonally down from our border or barrier. And I'm just going to run this all the way along until I reach the center. I want to stop at the center. And we're going to do this on both sides. Once you have your center identified and your outline started, we are going to connect the sides, but let's go ahead and build this out a little further. So from the column on both sides, I'm going to extend this out 8 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then I'm going to do the same thing with that lower platform on both sides. And then I'm going to fill it in all the way until I reach the middle, not going over the middle. We are building with obsidian, so you got to make sure that you don't misplace or you'll be having to break it. And if you don't have a good pickaxe, that could be a minute. Once you have your platform right up to the center block, we are going to fill it in all the way, just like this. So you'll have this big rectangle to fill in, so go ahead and do that now. All right, your collection platform should look like this. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to build a layer on top of our temporary blocks. Now, if you built out a scaffolding, it's really easy to collect it after the fact, but I'm just going to use it as a easy way to place my blocks. I'm going to build it all the way until I get to the middle. Don't go past the middle. Once I have built my platform from the solid wall towards the exit, I'm going to drop down 1 block, and then I'm going to build it on either side. Whoop. I keep going too far. In survival, try not to do that or you will have to break it. And then these are temporary blocks, so I'm going to break them out and I'm going to fill it all the way to the end of my farm. Now this is a large collection platform. We are going to use water to channel it towards this channel. Before we do that, we are going to finish the barrier, and we are going to run it all the way across, and you can actually fill that in completely. That's perfectly fine. Grab some water buckets. You'll need at least 2 of them. You can make an infinite water source by placing down a bucket of water, skipping a block, placing down another bucket of water, and then refilling your water buckets from this infinite water source that you created. But you will have to place a bucket of water along the edge of each block. Water has a maximum flow distance of 8 blocks, so you will know it. Whoops, I misplaced that. Let me get rid of that. You'll know if you missed a block because it will not extend all the way. So you'll just place a bucket of water until your water is perfectly aligned on the edge. You will place another bucket of water down, which will stop at our center block, where you will place another bucket of water down, and that will take you right to the edge of our farm. And I'm going to have to break a block after all, because what I'm probably going to do just for now is add a hopper. I'll grab some chests, or I'll grab 1 chest, and then I will just place a double chest right there just for now. Now you would make another water stream or collection system, however you want to do it, but this will just be for demonstration purposes, and your farm is ready to run. So let's go ahead and let's put in, I'll put in 9 blocks of TNT, and we will start this thing off. And you can see that the basalt flows perfectly into the middle of our farm and is being collected, oh goodness, by our hopper. All right, now, apparently the hopper was not fast enough to collect all of the basalt because one stack did end up in my inventory. So just make sure that you have an adequate hopper line to collect all the basalt we will be generating. And these are the results that you can be expecting. So let me just go ahead and put that in with the rest of them. And again, we average about 140. Sometimes you'll get more, sometimes you'll get less. But when you run it long term, that's what you can be expecting. We hope you enjoyed this episode. This was a lot of fun to build because it is different than the pickle farms that we have been showcasing. If there is a farm that you want us to build, we will build it for you. If we don't know how to build it, we will figure it out because that is what we love to do. If you need help with a farm, whether it's a pickle farm, a basalt farm, join our Discord. We have mods that are more than willing to help you, and if we can help you, we would love to do that too. So go ahead and join our Discord. The link is in the description. But do us a favor. If this is content that you like, please like, subscribe, ring that bell so you know when we release our next video. That's all from us for today. I'm CD3 Daddy.
And I'm C3DG Minecraft.
And we will catch you in the next episode.